Did that sound familiar? Well, you're definitely not alone. Many players get tripped up by leaps and lose their flow. But the real reason it happens is not what you would expect. So I'm going to show you the exact system that I have taught for decades to help you play without those frustrating pauses or missed notes. Contrary to what you might have been told, slow practice is not how you master leaps. There are other crucially important practice techniques that I'm about to share with you. So, what do I mean by a leap? I'm talking about any time the next note isn't already under your hand and you have to relocate and land precisely. And that's why leaps feel scary, by the way. There's a moment of zero contact, so you can't kind of creep your way over to what's next. And distance is irrelevant. One key, 2 octaves, same targeting skill, same way of moving. So we're going to train it that way, starting with what to expect and what not to do. Point 1, leaps are a targeting skill. Leaps are a targeting skill, not a finger skill, which is exactly why they can feel so frustrating. You're practicing your leaps, but they're not getting better. It feels like this shouldn't be taking so long and you must be doing something wrong. So here's the good news. This is absolutely learnable. And if you change how you practice, you'll stop wasting time. And there's nothing wrong with you. Leaps are a precision physical skill. Your body has to learn exact distances, exact timing, and that calibration takes time. It's like throwing darts. You don't think harder and then suddenly hit bullseyes tomorrow. Your system calibrates through repetitions. But if you train in the wrong way, you can spend a lot of time and still not get results. And just because leaps take time to learn doesn't mean you should train them in slow motion. If you practice the whole leap slowly, you're often training in the wrong coordination. Slow practice makes it easy to land, park on the note, and then relocate at the last minute. And that's the opposite of how reliable leaps actually work. Watch what slow motion practice teaches. Land, park, then move. Park, then move. And at tempo, that turns into a scramble. In the next point, I'll show you how to practice the travel as a fast movement while still keeping the landing accurate. Point 2, use a rebound. When you're playing along and you keep getting those little pauses, or if you're constantly scrambling to find the next keys, it's usually because your leaps are happening too late. You're not on the keys you need to be at the right time, so you have to stop and look for them. And that comes from practicing leaps with a pause. Doing that is like walking with a stop between every step. You're training a different movement than the one that you need to play with flow. So instead of land and park and then relocate, we're going to replace that parked movement with one thing, a rebound. So here's what to do instead. When you're learning your piece, practice every leap as a pair, the launch note and the target note. Here, watch my hands. Launch, and here's the target right here. As soon as I play the launch note, I release and rebound. And the rebound starts me traveling to the next key. You may need to feel a tiny sense of pushing off from the bottom of the key. You've already made the sound by then. The push off is just to launch you to the target note. Be sure you keep your hand, your forearm, your elbow, your shoulder very light and free. Sometimes you can do this, try this, to help you feel how free and light it needs to be. If you tighten at all, you won't have any rebound. If you play, park on the key, and pick your whole hand up and move it, there's no momentum, and you're forcing your thinking brain to do a job that your physical brain should be learning. The key is calibration, using just enough energy to play the note and then get to the next one early. That way you have time to control how fast you put the key down, and that's what shapes the sound. If you arrive at the key late or come crashing in at the last minute from above, the only option is a last-second grab. So now that we've got the travel time correctly, we need to make sure you actually know exactly where you're going.
If you want a step-by-step system for all this, join Piano with Rebecca B. It starts with my 28-day piano journey. You also get 2 live performance workshops a month and video feedback. 7-day free trial, link below. All right, back to the next step.
Point 3, know the destination. Do you ever feel like you keep basically landing near the right place, but not exactly? You chip notes, you hit neighbors, and it never feels reliable. I had that exact problem fresh out of graduate school. I asked my teacher what to do, and she said the cure was to be there. I had no idea what she was talking about, and I kept missing notes. Now I understand what she meant. Arrive first, confirm that you're on the correct key, and then play. If you keep missing, it's because you haven't trained in the arrival and confirmation. Here's the cue. Arrive, confirm, play. This is what my teacher meant when she said, be there. Now, here are a few ways to help yourself know where the target chord is. First, instead of thinking, whoa, big jump, find the nearest pair of notes, the closest physical reference between the chord you have now and the chord you need to play next. And that nearest relationship is the map. Sometimes the chords even overlap, and then it doesn't really feel like a jump. It feels like you're just changing which fingers are on the same keys. So the closest note for the left hand, I would be thinking about how far it is from where my pinky is touching the F to where my thumb would be touching the E flat, even though I'm not playing the E flat. The right hand, I'm thinking about moving from where my thumb on this note to my pinky on that note. Second, train your body to feel the difference. True leaping accuracy comes from sensations like how far your upper arm is turning in your shoulder socket. So you can think of it almost like the head of a clock. So these kinds of physical cues will teach you exactly where you need to go. So 12 to 2 or 11 to 1. The third thing, train yourself so you don't need to stare at the keys to know you landed correctly. If you have to watch your hands to confirm every single landing, your eyes become the bottleneck and you get pauses. The absolute best way to train that is to practice with your eyes closed. I call it the kitty whisker method. You let the fingers that aren't playing, usually 2, 3, 4, touch the black keys so you can feel where you are in the pattern of groups of 2 and 3 notes. And once you're aware of where you are in the pattern of the keyboard, you can start to build an internal topographical map of your exact leap. And all leaps become easier. So if you want to know more about building that map, I've got a whole video called Why Practicing with Your Eyes Closed is a Game Changer, and I'll link it up here. Now, even if you know the destination, there's another reason that leaps fall apart, especially when both hands are relocating. Point 4, move one hand at a time. Do you feel fine when only one hand has to leap, but the moment both hands move, it feels like you've lost the keyboard? It's like trying to cook 5 dishes at once. It's overwhelming, and most of them don't come out so well. Your brain doesn't multitask well. So when you're learning leaps, don't try to train both hands relocations at the exact same time. Practice one hand first and then the other. Here's how. Move one hand first, closest note. Now I move the left hand. Get there. Now I play. Now, just to be clear, I do not mean practice hands separate for 10 minutes each. That will not work. I mean, when both hands have to leap together, land one hand, hold it on the target keys, then land the other. Your brain cannot aim 2 jumps at once when you're just learning them. So we train it to aim one, land it, and then switch instantly so you can play in tempo. Once you've learned that, everything happens so fast that it will feel like both hands are moving together. Point 5, plan the trajectory. Listen to this. So here's what it sounds like when I'm thinking just up and down and sideways. And here's when I'm thinking arcs. It's this way. This way. And this one goes this way. Same notes, different path. If leaps make you tired or you feel like your music sounds poundy, you're probably traveling in straight, jerky lines. Quick experiment. Move your arm really fast, side to side, and then up and down, and now fast circles. Which feels easiest? For most people, it's the circles, and leaps are the same. Think of a small arc to the next spot. That arc will keep you light, early, and in control. It lets each movement flow into the next one. And finally, once you've trained your destination and the movement, here's how to bring the eyes back without losing your place. Point 6, strategic glances. Earlier, I told you to practice leaps with your eyes closed, and you should. That builds an internal map of the keyboard so you're not dependent on your eyes. Because what can happen otherwise is you get uncertain about how to find the keys and where you need to go, and you start staring at your hands. And then you lose your place in the score. So you look back up, but you're not sure where you are, and you get stuck. I call it falling into the crack between the piano and the music. I once saw a guy take 10 minutes to play the theme from the Goldberg Variations for exactly this reason. So we need a plan for your eyes. If you're playing with the score, use strategic glances. Keep your head mostly still, don't do this, and use a quick flick of the eyes to the keys that you need to land on, and then right back to the music. You're not searching for it, you're just verifying quickly that you're on the right spot. Move the right hand first, look at the keys, look at the music. It's like swatting a fly. You keep your eyes on the target and the hand goes right where you're looking. Boom! If you're playing from memory, obviously you can watch the hands a lot more. But when both hands are leaping, especially in opposite directions, you cannot watch everything. So you want to choose which hand gets the glance, usually the harder leap. The other hand has to land by feel, using the keyboard map that you built with eyes closed practice, and sometimes by finding its place relative to the other hand. If this helped and you want me to help you apply it to your pieces, join my membership, Piano with Rebecca B. You'll get a step-by-step practice system, live support, and you can post clips for feedback so you're not stuck guessing. Start your 7-day free trial. The link is below. And if you want more on this topic, I've got a full playlist on eyes closed practice and building flow. I'll link it here.